So now that we have learned how to make the most basic shapes, ellipses and rectangles, let's talk about how to make slightly more complex shapes. So now we are going to start using the Polygon tool and the star tool. So we created these shapes. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them because they have served their purpose. So choose your Polygon tool. When I do that, I can click and drag out a polygon. So it is pulling the color information from my last color choices. So my last shape that I had made, it was teal with that brick red stroke around it, and the stroke was at 16 points for the weight. So I can use these same options if I want to. I'm going to pull the stroke weight down a little bit just to make my shape a little bit more clear. So again, using my polygon tool, I can click and drag out a polygon. That's it. That is the very simplest way to do that. So click and drag out a polygon. Okay, so when I do that, notice that I'm pulling from the corner, sort of the corner, if it has a corner. So this is a little bit less clear than when creating a rectangle or an ellipse, but I could do that. So I'm clicking and dragging from a corner. So I can create my polygon that way if I press and hold the Alt key. Whoops. Sorry, let's get rid of that one. We were just kind of frozen there. So I can press and hold the Alt key and click and drag, and it'll create it from the center. So that's the same as when we were creating our other shapes. If I press and hold the Shift key as I'm creating my polygon, notice that it's not rotating around. Before, when I made my shapes, it rotated around as I was creating it. If I'm pressing and holding the Shift key while creating that shape, then it won't allow me to rotate it. So if I wanted to, I could change the color of my polygon right now. So I just double clicked on my fill color and I can change that to that yellow, and double click on my stroke color and I can change that to blue or whatever colors I want. If I wanted to take off one of those colors, so let's say I wanted to take off the stroke, I could hit this little none swatch right there. Notice that was right there. I'm going to go back to what it was, and I'll pull the stroke back up a little bit, somewhere around there. If I wanted to take off the fill, I could click none. And now notice that I have a stroke color, but no fill. So that is kind of just a side note on the colors. Let me get rid of all these so that they're out of our way. I'm going to choose my polygon tool again and just draw a polygon. If I want to move my shape as I'm creating it, I can press and hold the space bar as I'm creating my shape. So I have not released my mouse button. I could still make a bigger or smaller polygon, press and hold the space bar, move it around wherever I want, continue building my shape. Okay, so there is my polygon. I created it and it has the number of sides that I last used. So it just pulls that information in from the last time you use this tool. If you want to change the number of sides, you can do that a couple of different ways. So if you've already made your polygon and you decide you want to change the number of sides, you can look for this little widget that is built into your shape tools. So your shape will have boxes in all of the corners as well as in the middle of each of the sides, but then there is also this extra little box, and so that is the one right there. Notice that this side looks a little bit different from the other sides because this side over here, for example, has a box in the corner, box in the middle of the side, and a box on the other corner. Same here, same there, but this one has this extra little box. When I mouse over that, I see a plus and a minus sign. So the plus sign obviously will give me more sides. The minus, if I go to fewer sides, I have that option as well. So again, that's a nice little widget is what they call it, that is built into my shape tools. So I click and drag that out and I have more sides. The other way to create a different polygon, or a polygon with a different number of sides, is to click once somewhere in your workspace. So it can be on the artboard or it could be off the artboard. When you do that, you can choose the number of sides. So let's say I want a 5-sided polygon, and there's my pentagon. I can click again, and let's say I want this one to be 18-sided polygon. So there I go. I have my 18 sides. When I do that, I am still able to change the number of sides. So maybe I wanted to start out at 18, but then I changed my mind, and now I want it to be 8. Or maybe I typed it in wrong, or who knows. So that is a nice little option there. So that is the Polygon tool in a nutshell.